Howdy folks, and welcome back to the last video before Christmas. So for this video I thought I would take my itty bitty watercolour pad I got from Hobbycraft in the sale in the summer, I think, and finally take this time to draw something up on here and be a bit festive. It's nice and thick, so should be good to use. So after taping it down with some rather festive washi tape, I agonised for a little bit and then decided to draw a bunch of woodland creatures discovering a snowman and the Christmas presents at the base of a decorated tree. My inspiration for this really, there was a John Lewis advert a few years back now that had this animated rabbit and bear, and the bear always missed Christmas because he was hibernating, so the rabbit bought him an alarm clock. And it really gave me vibes from my childhood. There was a show that I was particularly in love with called The Animals of Farthingwood, and I don't know, it kind of every Christmas now whenever I hear that song that was used on the advert, it makes me think of The Animals of Farthingwood, and so I've kind of come to associate woodland creatures with Christmas. So yes, somehow television brainwashing has worked. So I put my sketch down on this paper and then I used my Sakura Pigment Micron, yes, that's right, to do the outlines because I know this is waterproof. And I didn't clean my palette in this from last time, but this is a Dale Rowney travel set that I used from a previous scrawler box. I believe it was the June scrawler box, but I really liked it when I used it and I haven't used it since then. So I wanted to give it a chance to shine again, and that's what I decided to use for this. I very rarely clean out my palettes on my watercolours, purely because they can always be reactivated. So although it kind of looks a mess, I consider it to be a little bit more, what's the word? I want to say frugal, but that just seems strange. But basically it just means nothing goes to waste. So one of the things I wanted to really try on this one was layering, which is something I don't tend to do with my watercolours purely because I'm impatient, and the same is true of this image, I'm afraid. I did layer up in a few places like the sky and on the fox and I think the badger, but ultimately I didn't wait for it to dry enough and there was a bit of pooling in places, so still got a ways to learn with watercolours, but I still really enjoy using them even though I'm clearly a novice at them. So as I said, I was kind of inspired by The Animals of Farthingwood. However, these aren't any of the characters in particular. Yes, there was a fox and a badger and a deer and a rabbit and all a bunch of other good animals, but this isn't any one of those characters. It's just kind of me drawing them in my version of that style, if that makes any sense. I feel like it doesn't, but never mind. But yeah, just because, like I say, I just thought woodland creatures discovering Christmas was a really cute message, so that's what I wanted to do. And that little snowman, I don't know who would build a snowman that little, but I just thought it was adorable. So I fell into my normal watercolour trap when I was doing the tree. So I remember the last time I used these, I had trouble with the plant pot because it was a large area. The same was true with the Christmas tree. It was the biggest area on the page and I had the same problems appearing again. And rather than make the same mistakes I did last time, I did actually learn a little bit and I let it dry and then went in with an added texture. Rather than trying to fix the overwatered area, I just added more texture to the tree, and looking at the original now, you can't see where I did that before, so yay. I added in all of these little details in red, just because I thought it would be like a contrasting colour to the rest of the image. There's going to be quite a lot of greys and blues when it's all finished, and obviously you've got kind of the orange fox, but red is a very bold colour. And I painted them all with the same brush. Even the little stripes on the candy canes, you'll see me doing that in a minute. The stripes on the presents, I wasn't sure about. I think I probably should have left those, but the candy cane stripes I managed with the brush. I think one of my New Year's resolutions would be, let's buy more detail brushes because I really need them. When I was doing a little bit of shading on the animals there, I kind of decided at that point I was going to make this a mixed media piece, purely because I don't trust myself shading with watercolours, so I thought I'd bring out the pencil crayons, and then I thought, I could put some nice gold paint on the bells on the tree as well. So it became kind of a mixed media piece, which even though it's teeny weeny, it was really fun to do, and I don't do enough, to be honest. I need to try and do more mixed media. I put a few more layers on the sky. I wasn't sure what time of day I was trying to make this. I think in my mind it was kind of turning to dusk. So the sky is not quite as bright as it would be if it was, midday or whatever, but it's not too dark that you couldn't see everybody. So I don't know what time of day it is. Leave me a comment down below if you think you can tell what time of day it is. Another reason why I wanted to darken up the sky is because I wanted to shade the snow with blue. And here is my lovely, somewhat hypnotic gold ink. Whenever I'm using this, I find myself kind of amazed by how swirly it is when you put it down. I can't describe it, and it doesn't show up on camera, so I sound kind of crazy, but if you've used it, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, again, stripes on the presents, not sure. And then I remembered I had this pearlescent ink, and I thought that'd be a really nice shimmer to add to the snow, because when the sun catches the snow when it has freshly snowed outside. We haven't had any this year in the UK, but yeah, I like that. So I wanted to capture that in the image, and this worked really well because it is quite transparent. It's an acrylic ink, I think, but it worked really well for this. And then I brought out my pencil crayons, and initially I thought, I've got no lights on this tree, quick, put some lights on. So I used my yellow pencil crayon and then white one to try and put a hint of light there, and then I go in with a paint pen in a little while just to bring those out. I did most of my shading with this purple, and then I think I pulled out a dark brown as well. I can't remember what the actual names are, but it's the set that came in Jazz's Jazzy Art Box, so I think everything I've used on this piece came in subscription boxes or mystery art boxes, so that's quite fun. It's kind of my celebration of mystery art boxes for the year piece. And after I added a bit more shading to the tree and the presents and a few other things I decided to add shading to, I decided that the snow needed a little bit more darkness to it, so I used that brown pencil again and then brought out the paint pen. So I tried to give a little bit more of a glow to each of those yellow and white areas that I'd done earlier, and I really think it worked quite well. As usual, everything's better in person, and the camera doesn't quite pick up the paint pen as well as it came out on paper, but I decided to add a bunch of snow as well because, Christmas. I really like snow. I live in the wrong place. I should move to Canada. Then I'd have lots of snow and I'd be fed up of it. And then finally I went round and thickened up some of the line work. So I'd lost a bit of depth in it, so the bunny and the badger at the front should have really had a thicker outline, but I deliberately left that until afterwards because I knew I'd go in afterwards. So hopefully this brings a bit more dimension to the piece, and also went over some of the areas that had been attacked by the pearlescent paint and had dulled it a little bit. And then it was time for some satisfying peel action. Oh yeah. I left this in real time, just so you can see how scared I was about peeling my paper off. Ooh, satisfying. The rest of it I sped up because, we haven't got all day. But I did leave it in for you. And there's a slight whoopsie daisy at the end there. And here we are at the end of the illustration. I really like how this turned out. It does make me feel festive. It's got a nice shimmer to it. Those gold ornaments are really popping. And yeah, I just think I've captured what I wanted to in it. The curiosity of these little woodland creatures. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you think woodland creatures deserve to have more Christmas things. Who knows? Don't forget to hit that subscription bell. I will try to put a video up next week, but if not, guys, have a happy Christmas and a happy New Year. Bye!